Hello everyone, it's Bibi Cameron here. Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be sharing ideas and inspiration using beautiful products from the latest releases by Knit and Tangled. So here on my table I have about 8 stamp sets, and one of the stamps is a background stamp. I'm going to show you that in a minute. You will notice that some of these stamp sets are designed to coordinate together, but of course you can use them individually or mix and match them with any other image in your stash. These stamp sets includes images in different sizes, together with the cutest sentiments, and always a coordinating die set. And something else I love about Knit and Tangled releases is that they provide all the design elements to make cards. For example, this die set here and this stamp set to create banners for cards and to add many different sentiments for many different occasions. Another thing is this die set here to create embellishments or accents or to make a card with them. And this is the background stamp I was talking at the beginning of the video, and it's just beautiful. Okay, so for today I also wanted to share with you a couple of card making techniques, and I'm going to be using this Bristol paper. This paper is going to make of the coloring process a joy. It's not like normal cardstock, and it doesn't absorb water or inks in the same way that cardstock does. So for that reason, I really need to slow down here and explain you a couple of things. The first thing is that when you use Bristol paper, you might need a stamping platform to stamp the images several times. And because this paper doesn't absorb the ink or washes of color the same that cardstock, and it takes longer to do that, you need to be very careful and avoid at all costs to pass your hands over the stamped images or to start applying colors straight away, because the ink is going to smear. 100% sure that you will get stains and bleeding. So you need to make sure that the ink is 100% dry. I'm using here VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I really love the performance of this ink on this paper, plus is the best ink I have found to use with water-based products. Okay, so while the ink dries, I'm going to show you my coloring tools today. And I'm going to be using Nuvo Shimmer powders, and only these Nuvo Shimmer powders to add colors to the projects you saw at the beginning of the video. I'm not using anything else. These powders are available in 9 different colors, and I have 8 on my table because the truth is I forgot one in the shelf, and when I was editing the video I said, where is the color? So yes, it's there. It's a lilac color, but I'm sure I'm going to show you that color in another video. So if you want to give a try to these powders and you haven't any of them, what you can do, or what is my advice? You can get primary colors, yellow, blue, and the red color, plus the black color. And with those 4, you can create hundreds of different shades. So you will see along this video that these pigments are 100% blendable. So you can mix them with water, and after you mix them with water, you can create different and new shades, even skin tones. I put a lot of that powder there, but it's fine. I can use that later on. And I'm going to put this close to the camera so you can see the pigment colors there. I'm going to put a little bit more of this color here, but honestly, that's all you need to color at least 20 cards. I'm also going to use this pipette and not a spray bottle, because if you spray water on the pigment, you won't be able to control the amount of water you are going to put there. It's okay to do that, you could do it, but you will also create a mess. So I really like to drop just a couple of drops of water over the powder to activate that pigment. And you can see how gorgeous those colors are. They are vibrant, and even when they dry, they keep that way. They also have shimmer, and they also have that kind of metallic effect or component that is really, really nice. So I'm going to be using this Nuvo water brush. In this moment, this is dry, but I'm going to wet the tip, and just like that, and I'm going to dry any excess of water on a paper towel. And now I'm going to start applying colors to the images. I'm going to do this image super slow or a real time, so you can see that it doesn't take a long time to color this. And my favorite coloring tip to share with you is to start applying a little bit of the color, clean the brush, and then spread that pigment all over the image. Just as simple as that. If you say that you cannot do this, I don't believe you, okay? You see that how easy? This is real time. I'm not speeding the camera, okay? There is nothing magical about this. And then clean your brush. So when you clean your brush and then you go back to your image, you will be able to get lighter areas. And you need to re-ink your brush when you want to add darker areas like I'm doing here. And once you apply this first wash of color, your paper is a little bit wet. So you can drop in color and the color is going to move along. You don't need to do a lot of things there. And then I'm going to show you how to create a kind of peach color or kind of a skin color. And all you have to do is to mix pink and yellow. And the amount of yellow is going to make your color lighter. You can apply more water, as you see there, until you see that color to be exactly as you want it. And of course, at this stage, this pigment has been diluted with a lot of water, but you still got the color there. Can you see it? And this is your skin tone, and it's perfect to add cheeks to your critters or to color any other stamped image. So I decided to add more pink because I like vibrancy, and you can drop in a little bit of this pinky color when that previous ink wash is still wet. And then what is going to happen? The pigment is going to move around the paper and it's going to blend along. You don't need to do more. And if you are like me that want everything super quick, you can use a heat tool to speed the drying process. Okay, it is super important to have your brush clean every time you change color. When you are using a dark color, it's not as much problem as when you are going to use a light color. However, once you have applied a wash of color on your image, you can go over that color that is already dry with other color. In that way, you build up color or blend colors. Another super simple thing I want to share with you is the way I put more water in my brush. Of course, you can put the brush on the sink, but if you craft like me in a log cabin, you don't have a sink. Or if you are far away from the sink, all I do is grab in my spray bottle and I put water on the brush and I'm ready to keep going. As the pigments dry on the paper, you will see that they go lighter than when they were wet, as I said before. So I like to add more pigment just to make my images always to look super bright and eye-catching, because I know that I have to guarantee a balance between dark areas and light areas. So in some areas, I'm going to add ink like I'm doing here. I'm applying a little bit of ink there, a little bit of that dark ink here and here, but I'm not going all over the image with that. No, 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 no. That's the magic of watercolor for card making. If you add a flat color over the whole image, as I'm doing here, well, you're not going to have anything else but a flat color. But you can always come back, or you come back later and add shadows. Okay, now I'm going to show you here another primary basics, and is how to create brown color with the shimmer powders. So I'm going to add a little bit of the red color with black, and there you go, you got a brown color in seconds. And as that, you will see me blending a lot of colors in this video. And from here, I'm going to speed the camera because I have other things to share with you, also using Knit and Tangled products together with shimmer powders. So I put more or less 3 hours of coloring in 3 minutes. Another thing is you might see me blending colors on the paper and not on the palette. That's also possible because I'm using Bristol paper. You might be able to do that also with a good quality watercolor paper. And I will advise you to blend the colors when the paper is still wet. Don't wait for the pigments to dry. Once I finish coloring the images, I use the coordinating dies to die cut these, and I pass my fingers over the images and the color doesn't move. Now I'm going to apply super duper easy techniques to create the backgrounds for these cards. And the first thing I'm going to do is to make my own shimmery sprays. All I have to do is to put the powder inside a spray bottle and mix it with water. I'm not using a lot of powder, as you can see there. You can also do this using water brushes so that you get your own shimmery pens. I'm not going to do that because it's pretty much the same I'm doing with the bottles. And I found these sprays really useful. So I made the sprays in different colors and you can see them here. So I use these 3 colors for this background. This is Cherry Bomb, Violet Brocade, and Solar Flare. So this piece of paper you see there has been previously Heat Emboss using Mail Background Stamp, Nuvo Clear Ink, and Nuvo Clear Embossing Powder. This is ordinary cardstock, and you can see that even before I start applying any water, this paper started to warp. I really don't like it, but I'm going to use it to show you that you could use it as well. So I just sprinkled some shimmer powder there, and then I'm spraying water, and you can see that you will get a really intense color, and also that degradation of colors that are components of that powder. You will see some fuchsia and some red crystals all around the paper. When you use the spray, you will get more even tones. So depending what you want to do, you can use the sprays or you can sprinkle the powder. It really doesn't matter a lot, but the sprays are awesome to apply another techniques I'm going to show you. So every time you spray another layer of color, those colors are going to blend. So you can also use them with the sponges, or you can also use them with a brayer. The sky's the limit, okay? These are colors or inks that you can use like any other water-based ink. Plus, you will also get that beautiful shimmer. So here's the card I made using this background, and I also use other supplies in this release together with this old die I have here by Knit and Tangled. I have another video in my YouTube channel to show you how to use this die to create this little box here, and I'm going to show you how I easily made paper sprints. So I just cut a really fine piece of paper and I wrap it around a stick or something similar, being very careful and not tearing the paper. Once I have this done, I just make a little bit of pressure on the paper and that's it. Voila! I add that to my cards using just any adhesive I have, and I think they are pretty cool. I really love this card, and if you are watching this video in my YouTube channel or blog, you can see the supply list just in the bottom of the blog post or in the video description. Okay, now I'm going to use the shimmery sprays with stencils. So I need to make sure that the stencils are going to be firmly adhered to the paper. So I use temporary spray adhesive, and I'm going to place the stencils on Arches watercolor paper like so, and all I have to do is to spray the paper. This solar flare color is just beautiful. You can have a sneak peek of how this is looking just here. So that color is just enough for me, but I want to show you another way to use the powders. I'm going to use a slightly wet sponge. I'm going to dab it on any of the pigments I have on my palette, and I'm just going to apply it like so. In this way, I'm going to get a smooth and vibrant color as well. And after doing this, if you wanted to, you could also spray a little bit of that solar flare shimmer on top, just to get some speckles on the paper. All you have to do is to quickly remove the stencil, dry the paper, and I want to show you something else. You can also splatter these pigments on the paper like I'm going to do here. But you need to make sure that any ink on the paper is completely dry or the colors are going to blend. So this kind of backgrounds with stencils are super quick and easy to make. And here's the card I finished using the images I colored at the beginning of the video, a little banner, and that background. So that day, I have to stop crafting and making this video, go to pick up my daughter from her school, and when we arrived home, she saw me crafting and she said, "Mom, I want to do that." So she was making here her own shimmer spray, and she really wanted to give it a go using this beautiful stencil. And I just grabbed a piece of affordable watercolor paper so that she could give it a try. Emma, but not painting the table. And every time I craft with Emma, and it's her first time doing something, I realize how fun is this for someone who have never done it. So she was spraying this everywhere. And it was fun, it's okay, we just clean it, but I lift the pigment from the paper. So I told her, no worries, we can spray this again. So we are going to use this blue spray to do that.
I'm going to do it on this.
No, far away, far away.
Okay.
By placing the spray bottle far away from the paper, you are going to cover a wider area and you are going to avoid the pigment leaking underneath the stencil. Emma got very little hands, so she doesn't have the strength to use the spray bottle properly. But she tried her best, she was enjoying it, and to be honest, there was very little product in that spray bottle, so she was kind of struggling, and I knew that, but I didn't tell her. So I feel sorry for her, and I say, okay, once I finish this video, we go crazy with these sprays. And that's what we did. But for now, I'm going to finish this panel, and I'm going to spray a little bit of the solar flare, because at this stage, I knew that Emma's background panel will be used for one of the cards today. All we have to do is to dry this up.
Yeah, dry it up.
Okay, now you can remove the stencil, but you have to be really quick, really fast.
Okay.
Oh, that's very beautiful, Emma. We can put something here to cover that up, so don't worry.
Yay!
There you go.
My card with that.
So here is the card finish. Emma also helped me to choose the image, and we thought that might be cool to make a kind of Cupid monster or something like that. So we put some wings to the monster because he's flying. And well, I have to ask my husband for support to build that sentiment, monster love. If that has any meaning, and my husband said, with English, you can make anything. He's a brilliant help always. That's why my English is not improving at all. Well, he said, monster love sounds like a big love. And I said, oh, I like that. So that's how this card was done. For the next panels, I didn't spray the stencil with temporary adhesive, and I just placed it on top of ordinary watercolor paper. And I just sprayed the pigment, and I got this beautiful background. Then I grabbed the stencil, I sprayed with water, and I used it as a stamp to stamp another piece of paper. And because I was making a mess, I placed a piece of paper behind the stencil to protect the impression, but actually if I thought that better, I will have 3 panels. And here are the cards I made using those backgrounds. As I was crafting through the day, it was getting dark, and here in Scotland, we don't have a lot of light during winter. So I'm so sorry because I have been unable to capture the real shimmer of these cards in the video and also in pictures. This is something you have to touch and experience yourself. The color is very intense. I haven't seen any other product in my stash that look like this. I really love it. And I know this video is getting super long, so I'm going to share with you this last card. And to make this card, I just place a stencil over watercolor paper like that. I then sprinkle a little bit of the purple and the pink powders, and then I spray water. I keep a sprinkle powder and trying to dry this up at the same time because I didn't want the liquid color to leak underneath the stencil. So once this was dry, I remove the stencil, I clean it, and I put it back on top. Then I apply Nuvo clear ink like that. I remove the stencil and I apply Nuvo clear embossing powder. Using a heat tool, I heat this up to seal the color underneath the heat embossing. Then I use the pink and purple shimmer sprays. And when this was dry, I used the solar flare shimmer spray, but just a little bit. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel or visit the blog for more ideas and inspiration. Thank you very much for watching and happy crafting. Bye!